third video in this long series of videos that will talk about the IELTS writing test. For those of you who have come here for the very first time, please don't forget to watch the videos based on their labels. Like you will see that this particular video is already labeled as video 3. So please remember to watch the earlier videos first, because the videos actually, like I said in the previous videos, the videos follow a progressive order, so you might end up confusing yourself if you jump to the third video without watching the first two videos. As a reminder, we are talking about the IELTS writing test. This page is really all about the IELTS writing test, and we are going through 5 essential problem solving strategies to score a minimum band 7. Like I said in the previous videos, they are essential because these strategies are really at the heart of IELTS writing. And of course, if you take away the heart from the human body, then of course that's gonna be a dead body. So there's no way for you to score a band 7 if you do not apply any of these 5 essential problem solving strategies. And let me emphasize that, problem solving strategies. So remember, as a task 2 writer, you are burdened with solving problems as presented to you in the question prompt. These strategies are cutting edge, they are highly effective, they are revelatory. This is really a product of years of research, and through these strategies or techniques, then we will finally know what IELTS has been hiding all along. And so IELTS writing tests, particularly task 2, has already been cracked for all intents and purposes. They are also previously unheard of because you may have been watching a lot of YouTube videos already, but you will know that what you will be learning here are something that you have not heard or seen anywhere else, and they are proven. When I say proven, what I mean is that a lot of students have already passed using these strategies, and in fact that's the purpose of today's video. We will be showing you essays that have used the strategies, specifically the first 2 strategies that we've talked about in the first 2 videos. And so you will see their essays and how they scored with these essays. So this particular video is for task 2 writing. For newcomers, task 2 writing is an essay that you will need to produce for the IELTS exam at a minimum of 250 words, and the time limit there is at 40 minutes. So since the writing test runs for a full hour, then that goes to show that the remaining 20 minutes is really for task 1 writing. There will be a new series of videos that will come up further down the road. We should call task 2 writing as argumentative writing, because this is the kind of writing where you will be positing arguments in defense of an opinion. And as a reminder as well, we are going through 5 essential problem solving strategies. So we have labeled these strategies as ABC styles. These letters actually don't stand for anything. They are not acronyms for anything. They are merely notational variants to make it just to emphasize the point that task 2 writing is really as easy as ABC. So if you've gone through the first video, then you will know that the A1 style is what we call the agree style. Going back, A styles are actually essays which are used to answer one-sided question prompts. So far we have gone through videos 1 and 2, and both of them have actually just talked about one-sided question prompts, and I will explain later what a one-sided question prompt is for those who have arrived here at the very first time, or for those who may have forgotten already. So in a one-sided question prompt, if you agree to the said question prompt, then you are now implementing the A1 style. However, if you disagree to this one-sided question prompt, then you are now implementing what we call the kill style. And for video 4, we will now be talking about another variant of the A2 style, which is called the kill and bury style. B styles are now used for crossover question prompts, or question prompts which explicitly mention two sides of a particular issue. But that's getting ahead of ourselves, so we will just talk about that when the corresponding video comes up. Scrolling down further, in the first two videos, we had an example of an A style, and I chose this topic prompt which I found over the internet. Some people say that teachers should be paid according to how much their students learn. So this is indeed very much one-sided. It only contains the opinions of people who believe one particular side of an issue. If this were to be a crossover prompt, then you would see something like others on the other hand, etc., etc. But since we do not see that in the question prompt itself, then we know that this is clearly a one-sided question prompt, and therefore we are thinking of the A styles. You will see the prompt over here. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So related to that is the cardinal rule, meaning these are rules that cannot be broken. If the writer agrees with a one-sided proposition, then the writer may just choose to posit a number of arguments to defend one's agreement. So, however, if you disagree with the proposition, then please don't forget to perform a two-step process where you should first mention the arguments of the agree side, which is what we did in video 2, and follow this up with the kill arguments of the said agree side. So it's the two-step process that we've been talking about for the A2 style. So kill, as we discussed in the last video, means to render the arguments of the opposing opinion completely false or illogical. Just as a reminder, in the first two videos, like for video 1 for example, what we did is the A1 style, which just agrees with the question proposition. So in that video we actually had 3 agree arguments. So let me just indicate the agree arguments in bold format there. And as a reminder, for the first argument, we said that making sure that teachers only get paid based on how much their students learn will help ensure that the right methodologies in teaching will be applied. And then we follow that up with a series of supporting arguments. Then our second argument is the proposal will ensure that only the most deserving teachers will stand in front of the classroom. And then we follow that up with a series of supporting arguments as well. And our third argument is altogether this proposal would help improve education overall. Going into the second video, video 2, what we did is we actually had these in the first part of the essay. Then we proceeded to kill each and every one of these arguments. So again, to kill means to render the opposing opinion false or completely illogical. So let me just highlight the kill arguments here. There. So kill argument number 1 states that there really is no perfect methodology. So that argument actually renders this opinion wrong. If our intent is to help ensure the right methodologies in teaching, there really is no perfect methodology for all intents and purposes, and that's because there really are different kinds of learners. And then for this argument about the proposal being meant to ensure that only the most deserving teachers will stand in front of the classroom, then our kill argument for that is even the best and most experienced of teachers can fail. So for all intents and purposes, then even the most deserving teachers cannot be assured to be successful all the time. Then for the third agree argument, this proposal is meant to help improve education overall. what we had for our kill argument is stating that the improvement education is really multifactorial. It really is a result of many factors. It's just not the teaching factor, etc., etc. And to see how that went, this is how actually our essay looked like for the A2 style. For the A1 style, you might want to pause your video at this point if you haven't seen the first two videos. So you might want to pause at this point just to be able to see how the essay actually went. So for example, for the A1 style, our essay was really just up to this point. It really was much longer, of course, because we had to expound and expanded the arguments accordingly so as to hit the 250 word count minimum. However, going into the A2 style, which is the kill style, we added these arguments as the kill arguments for all of these above. So you will see the underlined bullets there. These are the arguments in favor of the proposal. These are the three arguments. And for each of these three arguments, we followed them up with corresponding kill arguments. That's the first of the kill, the second of the kill, and the third of the kill is over here. So if you will notice, since we had three arguments in agreement to the question proposition, the kill arguments also needed to be at the number of three arguments as well, so that there is a one-to-one correspondence. So for example, for this argument, the corresponding kill is over here, and then for this argument, the corresponding kill is over here, and for this argument, the corresponding kill is over here. Alright, so with that kind of essay, I'm sure you're gonna score a minimum band 7. So proof of that is an essay that I will show you from one student of mine who actually just took the test 2 weeks ago. And so when I say 2 weeks ago, I'm referring to early 2018, January 2018. This is the topic prompt that she received. In the modern world, it's no longer necessary for animals to be used as food sources and for products such as clothing and medicines. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So this writer has been trained with the methodology, so what she applied here is the A2 style. Let's just go through the introduction. So animals are created for the consumption of human beings. Nevertheless, a notion stated that animals are no longer needed for food, clothing, and medicine. So what she should have put there is something like there is. If you will notice, there are a number of grammar errors, but the writer still scored a band 7 precisely because the writer used the argumentative problem solving strategies that we're talking about in this series of videos. I'll just make the corresponding corrections to language as we go along. The succeeding paragraphs will include discussions on the aforementioned statement as well as the writer's opinions on this. Here. So these are the arguments of the opposing opinion. These are the agree arguments. All of those are the agree arguments. But since the writer was in disagreement with the topic, question, and proposition, then the writer proceeds to kill all these arguments over here, and the kill arguments are all over here. And then the writer now proceeded to conclude the essay accordingly. Let's read through the opposing opinions first. To begin with, people can consider alternative source of raw materials for food, clothing, and medicines, one of which is plants and trees. So what you should have said there is two of which are there. And then she should have pluralized plants over here. There. Again, I'm just making the due corrections to language, but even with her language flaw, she already scored a band 7. Precisely because she did apply the right argumentative strategies. So those are her topic sentences, and then these are her supporting arguments. With the aid of modern technology, researchers on flora are more advanced. making it possible to use these plants and trees for food, clothing, and medicines. Edible mushrooms are being cultivated for human consumption. So that's an example of plants which can be used for food. In terms of clothing, cotton trees can be utilized for the production of threads and in turn clothes. So that's for clothing. And herbal medicines are widely prescribed by medical practitioners. Therefore, flora species can be a source of food, clothing, and medicines. So that's the argument for medicine. So as you can see, the writer is actually arguing in that paragraph. The writer actually posited the agree arguments that animals are no longer needed for food and for clothing and medicines. The writer is performing the first of the two steps. So the writer first cited the agree arguments over here, and then the writer now is going to proceed to kill these arguments. There's the there's a marker to indicate to the reader that the writer is about to go into the kill. However, nothing compares to the benefits that the animal can offer, from delicious cuisines, let's just make the correction there, to comfortable clothing to essential medicines. So this is for food. Proteins are building blocks of the human body, which are richly found in meat of farm animals. This is now for clothing. The fur of bears is used there as raw materials in production of warm clothing. And this is now for medicine. When it comes to medicine, the venom of snakes. So she should have put snakes over there. And then the verb is referring to the subject venom. So the venom of snakes is an antidote for snake bite itself. Given this, animals are truly irreplaceable. So with these arguments here in this paragraph, the writer has just successfully killed all these arguments here. And with that being done, the writer now proceeds to conclude the essay. In conclusion, the writer firmly disagrees that animals are not anymore vital in this modern world. In fact, their value increased in line with the advancement of science and technology, as animals are the main subject on research for the benefit of food, clothing, and medicine. That is a actual Band 7 essay that was registered. There, you might want to pause at this point so that you can see the entirety of the essay in one frame. This Band 7 essay was registered just 2 weeks ago. There's the scores. There. Let's make it bigger. So January 5. So her listening was 8.5, her reading was 8, the writing score was at 7, and the speaking score was at 7. This is a UKVI exam, so this is the first time that the writer took the IELTS exam, and the writer already hit her target with her very first attempt, precisely because the writer conformed to the argumentative styles that we're talking about in this series of videos. Let's now look at the writer who scored a 7.5 using the A1 style. So again, it's another one-sided proposition. There are several inventions in human history, such as the wheel. Some people believe that the internet is the most important invention. So since the writer is in agreement with this topic proposition, then all the writer did is to come up with 3 arguments to support her opinion as to why the internet is the greatest invention of humanity. That's the first of the 3 arguments. This is the second of the 3 arguments. And this is the third of the 3 arguments. And then the writer concludes accordingly. Let's just read through the essay very quickly. It's undoubtedly true that there are considerable breakthroughs in human civilization, so we need to delete this "the." Again, typically there will be some language errors, just as in the previous essay that you just saw. But the writer scored a 7.5 with this one, so it really just goes to show that in IELTS, what's really weightier are the argumentative styles that you use. So some individuals think that the internet is the greatest discovery of all. I firmly agree that the internet is an extraordinary invention in the human race due to certain reasons. So this is the agree style. So this is the A1 style. One of the most obvious benefits, so one of the is always followed by a plural. One of the obvious benefits of the internet is the enhanced communication. This should be in the past participle. Enhanced communication in this modern world. Enhanced communication, period. In this modern world, internet is always preceded by the. The internet allows people to communicate with each other regardless of the geographical location. That's true, right? So that's what the internet brought. It just revolutionized communications. In the past, our ancestors only socialized. She's talking about the past, so she should use the past participle with one another through telephone or letter writing, which makes the communication limited. Besides, the advent of the internet makes businesses convenient than ever before. For example, a CEO in a certain company could arrange a meeting with his employees via video call or just by accessing the internet, thus improving the business and saving ample amount of money in traveling. There. So that's all about communication, and then now she proceeds to the second bullet. Another reason why I think the internet is the most significant discovery of humankind is that it widens a person's knowledge. Through the use of the internet, many people can access any information they want. For instance, a university student can utilize the resources available online in producing an exemplary research as a school requirement. This means that information found in the internet is very crucial not only in the field of education but also in other fields that should be graded as of studies. Indeed, that is really what the internet has primarily brought to humanity. That's why they call it the information age, because it actually helped propagate knowledge to unprecedented levels. And finally, the internet is a tool that eliminates cultural barriers. Again, a very good argument. It's undeniable that the internet offers a variety of social platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All of these nouns should be capitalized: Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, which makes different nationalities eventually understand the culture of other races in the world. In the Philippines, for instance, Filipino teenagers, again that should have been capitalized, Filipino teenagers who are fond of watching Korean songs, Korean, that K should be capitalized as well, and European fashion shows in YouTube that allows them to adopt the Korean and European lifestyle. This means that the internet allows everyone to learn from each other's customs and traditions, that should be with the S, irrespective of the different traditions, nationalities, and languages. Very nice. These are three very valid arguments. They're all very relevant to the issue of the internet. So it's now time to conclude. In conclusion, it's very clear that the internet has plenty of advantages that make it the ultimate invention among all human discoveries. Hence, I completely agree that the internet is an incomparable tool in human civilization. There. And we should eliminate this the. And will continue to serve its unique purpose in the years to come. So, I did say earlier that all of these argumentative strategies that we will be talking about are proven, and so this is actually the proof that I'm talking about. Alright, so hold on. There, maybe you can just freeze frame there the first three paragraphs there, and then we will just scroll down to the latter portion of the essay there, for those of you who want to go through the essay again. And here is the screenshots of her test results. Unfortunately for this writer, she actually missed her reading test, but she actually was able to make up for it, and she's now in the UK. So her writing is at 7.5. Okay. For the next video, so as you can see, I just went back to the A2 style. So this is the A2 style is the one that disagrees with a one-sided question proposition. For the next video, we will now be talking about the kill and bury style. So let me remind again, the essays, argumentative styles are cutting edge. They're highly effective. They're proven, as you just saw with the 2 series of essays from my pastor students. You've never heard of these argumentative styles before? You can try watching all the YouTube videos that you want, and you will see that none of them actually talks about the styles that we're discussing here, and they are revelatory. Through these argumentative approaches, we have finally cracked the IELTS Task 2 writing test. So that's it for this 3rd video, and I hope to see you in the 4th video. So again, let me remind you, please watch the videos in succession. They are labeled accordingly as video 1, 2, and 3. And please do click subscribe so that when the new videos come out, you will be notified accordingly, and you will not miss any of the videos as they come out, so that you will not end up in confusion. So again, my deepest thanks for your interest, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.